Back again, dubstep song. We're gonna be taking what we did last time, this, and we're gonna be expanding the pattern length and adding some backing strings. We're gonna be adding the strings in there. So, all right, first thing we wanna do is we want to close our view down a little, shrink our view, and we're going to double all of this. I'm going to copy it to the section right after it. And then we're going to expand our loop point in Cubase farther out. Now we'll select all the stuff we just copied, the first part, and we'll change the color of that. We'll use this color. And we will change the color of the part we just moved to make it a little easier to organize which sections are what, so we don't get lost in our own composition. All right, I'm going to expand this up a little. Now this track, the bottom one, I will solo it here. That's our lead that we added before. Now what we'll do is we'll take that and modify it in the second section. We're going to think of that first section as sort of like a block, and we're going to carve out of it. So we're going to take this track and splice it, cut parts out of it. So we're gonna just trim it down so it's very minimal compared to what it was. So when it gets to this point, we'll still have the sound in the mix, but we won't have the same melody tiring our ears over and over and over. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting it down so we have basically just like the note on the one, okay, I'm going to undo that a little because I want something right before the end of the bar, of the second section there. So let's listen to this. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. We'll do that most of the way through this, just to give us some change from the last section. And we're going to add the strings in underneath it. So I'm cutting these and cutting out, like dragging the MIDI part to cut out the middle of the bars. And we'll leave the very end here, this big transition pattern, this part, to loop back into the other part. So now let's listen to the whole thing and see what it sounds like. Okay, that's good. That gives us some contrast between these sections. The melody, there's hints of it still there, but it's not as full and it's not as repetitious. So now we'll press F11 to load our VST instrument rack, and then we're gonna load something for string sounds. I like to use Miroslav Philharmonik. Cubase is asking, do I want to create a track assigned to this plugin? And I do, so I'll click create. And here's Miroslav Philharmonik. Now I'm going to load a combi, and I'm going to load this cello concerto. We're going to use this in our section that we just cut a bunch out of to add some back in of a different sound and timbre. All right, I'm going to practice a little pattern. I'm going to chord a little with these sounds. Okay, that sounds pretty cool, something like that, so we'll record. We'll trim our pattern down to where it starts. And now leading into this string sound, we're going to do a little bit of a chord swell. It'll just give it a little transition. Now, I want to lower the volume of those notes. So we'll trim it back. That's the same chord I was playing in the pattern. Here it is. It's D minor. So we'll bring it down. And now, leading back into the other pattern, we'll put a little bit of a, just a bass note, the bass root D. It's good a lot of times to let your patterns overlap just the first beat, or come in just the first beat earlier to give it a little more seamless transition. So let's listen to the whole thing. Alright, I like most of that. I like this first section a lot. Now I want these two notes to connect. They don't need to be spaced out. Now I'm going to take everything but that last section over here and cut it out and copy this over. Now let's listen. Okay, I don't think I like that little leading note, so we'll pull that out. Now let's listen to it again. Yeah, that sounds better. So we'll pull that note out of both of them. Copy it again, trim it again, and now we have our part. One minor change. I want this note to stretch out a little farther. Now we'll color these to match the section they're in. So we don't get confused. And save the project. And then next time we'll be expanding and adding even more.